Now at 9, the city of Galena is investigating an unpleasant smell in one part of town. We'll have the latest. Plus, cold weather vehicle maintenance you don't want to forget about.
To kick off his last week in office, President Biden gives his final speech on foreign policy. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington with a look at Biden's legacy on the world stage coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The city of Galena is trying to get to the bottom of what's causing a very bad smell in some parts of the city. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to the mayor of Galena to find some answers.
The colder it has gotten, the worse the smell is.
If you live in the area north of 4th Street in Galena, you may have noticed an unpleasant smell.
People that live in or work nearby have had similar concerns, and it's really become a pretty major issue.
While the city isn't sure of the source of the sulfur smell, one guess is it's coming from the landfill on Front Street.
I don't know if it's a lack of adequate cover, which again they're doing, there's no violation there, so everything is being done right, but if there's still some stench that could come up from there, but with the air pressure and temperatures that could keep the smell closer to human range versus it going up in the air and being able to spread out more. There's been talk of maybe, with going through the dry spell in the summertime, now that there's moisture in the ground, is that, mixing with some of the things that have been covered up in the landfill, so it's causing the odor. So I'm not really sure if it's all of that, if it's none of that.
KDHE conducted a test which determined the landfill doesn't have any violations. Mayor of Galena, Ashley Groves, says they've never had a smell issue to this extent in the past.
To my knowledge, this is the first time it's at least been this bad. Landfills, I think it always comes with the territory of having some odor, but nothing this potent or this long. Really is a very consistent, almost a daily thing. We're not 100% sure it's coming from the landfill, but it's definitely coming from that area.
But one thing that is for sure is they plan to get to the bottom of the issue. And Groves encourages people to report the smell to the landfill operators.
To report it when they smell it. Now again, when that's 10 o'clock at night, 5 o'clock in the morning, nobody's going to be there, but please document as best as possible and then communicate that with the landfill operators. That way we have the documentation.
And as for the city of Galena's next steps, they have plans to meet with KDHE this Friday to work towards pinpointing the cause of the smell. Reporting in Galena, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Well, Mayor Grove says there has even been reports the smell is coming into people's homes, and along with concerns of the smell, she's heard some folks express concerns about whether the smell is a health concern. Well, some drivers in Joplin will need to take a detour in the coming days. Starting tomorrow, St. Louis Avenue will be closed from 8th Street to Campbell Parkway. This will be a full closure at the railroad crossing to replace the box culvert and stormwater infrastructure. People living in that area will still have access to their homes, but through traffic will need to follow the detour route. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, temperatures are quickly dropping down into the 20s. Feels like 17. We've got a light breeze, but overall it is going to be a chilly night tonight, though a little bit warmer than it was earlier last night. Now, winds are looking pretty good out of the south, pretty calm, and we have a warm up in the forecast. Temperatures are going to continue to warm up. Today we got it to the mid to lower 30s. Tomorrow, even though we're starting off a bit cooler, we're warming up to the low 40s across the area. And then on Wednesday, low to mid 40s. We're just going to continue to climb in temperatures as we head into Thursday, with temperatures reaching the low 50s. Even warmer than that on Friday, but we do have a pretty big cold front in the forecast. I'm going to talk about that coming up.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, many are taking advantage of this week's dry time to care for and check on their vehicles after our ice and snow last week. As Nick Kelly reports, it's also a busy time for repair shops.
While some of the Ozarks waited for road conditions to improve after wintry weather this month, others had to venture out on the roads. Unfortunately, some who got out during the dicey road conditions ended up with damage to their vehicle. That's keeping body shops busy.
We were actually getting tow-ins that same day, the first day of the storm, and then ever since then, a lot of the tow lots try to get to those cars as quickly as they can. And
Cars, SUVs, four-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive vehicles were no match for the icy roads that left behind damage to wheels, suspension components, and other body parts. Parts were initially hard to get in for repairs due to road conditions outside of the state, but they're now arriving in large quantities. That means if you sustain damage and need repairs, even if shops are busy, don't wait.
give the body shop a little grace while we dig through this, but the faster you can get us called and get on the schedule, the faster the process begins.
If you stayed off the road and are now finding your vehicle is hard to start, it's likely a dead or drained battery.
It's the clock, the radio stations, the GPS tracking that may be there. So there's things that will draw electricity off of the vehicle even after it's sitting for even a short amount of time.
You can put in a new battery or have your car safely jump-started and taken to a shop. In the future, starting it every few days and letting it run for a brief time will help keep things in working order. Even with some roads still wet, it is a good time to clean your car so snow won't stay on any components under the car. Plus, it's good for getting rid of salt and other road treatments.
It really accelerates the corrosion factor on the undercarriage of the vehicle, and suspension components, exhaust components, exposed metal components under the vehicle will rust literally in a matter of hours.
And while it may take a few tries to wash that snow and treatment away, you can do it yourself at any self-serve car wash or any car wash site that offers a good undercarriage spray. Well, coming up, bird flu concerns.
Lawmakers say the feds need to coordinate their bird flu response as more cases are reported. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
And later, the fate of TikTok will be decided within the week, and many people are weighing in on this ban.
Recipe, join us at 7 a.m.
There are new concerns about a wider outbreak of bird flu after 2 pets died when they drank infected milk. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri has the latest.
Bird flu is still spreading across the country, raising new concerns about public health and the economy. A pet owner in California says 2 of his cats died after drinking raw milk recalled because of the bird flu risk. And in San Francisco, another child infection has been confirmed, sending officials scrambling to contain the virus. Because whenever it spreads, there's a possibility of a genetic mutation that could allow it to be transmitted person to person.
And if that happens, what that means is that you don't need exposure to a chicken or a cow because you could have gotten from someone at the grocery store.
The CDC says right now there are 66 confirmed cases in the U.S. The majority are in 3 western states, California, Washington, and Colorado. And there have been no cases reported east of Michigan. Experts are now urging the public to do what they can to stop the spread.
Avoid things like raw milk, contact with animals, those types of things to not only protect you against the flu virus, but against many other organisms.
Meanwhile, lawmakers on Capitol Hill are warning egg prices could surge even more due to the bird flu outbreak. And Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is calling for a coordinated federal response, saying health officials will have all the resources they need.
I am urging the feds and the relevant agencies tackling this outbreak to keep their pace, use the federal funds quickly, and we'll fight to get you more funds if we need them.
Schumer also says it's vital the new administration not cut funding to efforts to contain bird flu. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
New research suggests video games may be helping men build social connections in the face of rising loneliness. Experts say over half of Americans will experience social isolation, with men reporting fewer close friendships than in the past. A study from Texas A&M found men participating in a football gaming site started with game-related chats, but gradually opened up about real-life topics like job changes and moving. While online connections can help, researchers say in-person interactions remain crucial for mental health. More men are getting vasectomies after the reversal of Roe v. Wade. A study published in JAMA Network found a third of men getting vasectomies said the Dobbs decision was an important factor in their decision. There's also been a rise in younger men getting the procedure. Well, men are more than 3 times more likely than women to die from traumatic brain injuries. The study by the Taylor and Francis group found older adults were the most at-risk group for experiencing a TBI, with falling being the biggest risk. Traumatic brain injuries make up a quarter of all injury-related deaths in the U.S. Well, eating more fiber protects your body from infections. A study by the University of Cambridge found by eating more vegetables, whole grains, and beans, our body grows more healthy bacteria in the gut and reduces the amount of dangerous bacteria. This could help protect us from everything from E. coli to pneumonia. Well, Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecasts. And later, restaurants are taking advantage of the benefits of AI for their business. We'll show you how they're using robots to increase their bottom line.
Cinnamon rolls. Join us January 18th at the Joplin Greenhouse.
Well, over the last week, we've seen a lot of snowfall and a lot of cold temperatures, but I'm here to tell you temperatures are warming up this week. Taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We've got a mostly clear sky tonight. You can see winds are pretty calm as well. Temperatures today got into the low to mid 30s with our low this morning in the low teens. So we're well below average for this time of year. Normally we should be seeing temperatures in the 40s and lows in the 20s. That's actually what we're going to be seeing tomorrow. So as we head into the overnight hours, temperatures are going to continue to drop down into the mid-20s, which is normal for this time of year. And then our high tomorrow only reaching about 41, 42 degrees. Now it's going to be partly cloudy skies, so we are going to see a few clouds overall, but pretty nice in general. Now, outside of that, we've got a low pressure system that's shifting off to the east and a secondary low pressure system that's going to be cut off in the west. In between that builds a ridge, and that's where we're seeing our warmer temperatures. So taking a look by Thursday, we're going to be in the low 50s in some areas, about 51 in Joplin, 54 in Miami, 49 in Pittsburgh, 45 still in Iola and Yates Center, so a little bit cooler up there in the north. But out in Oklahoma, those are going to be our warmest temperatures that we're going to see. You can see winds are out of the west, but they shift out of the south as we head into Friday. So taking a look at our morning temperatures, Friday morning, we're going to start off in the upper 30s, low 40s across the area, and then we're warming up to the mid to lower 50s yet again. So it's going to be overall pretty warm. Winds are out of the south. And like I said, it's because we've got this ridge pinched in between two low pressure systems. So working our way through Wednesday, mostly clear skies. You can start to see that little shortwave trough that's kind of fallen off from our low pressure system up to the east. It continues. We have a bit of a wind shift line, but then we start our warm up. So there's our ridge pinched in between those two low pressure systems. It's going to be moving into our area, and then by Friday morning, our cutoff low rejoins with the upper level flow, and it's going to continue to propagate eastward, bringing potential for rain and even snow. So taking a look, Saturday morning or late Friday night, we're going to start to see a few of these showers popping up. Now, the front moves in late Friday night after 10 p.m., and that's where we could see a few showers popping up, though most of the models have been consistent on the main front developing after it leaves our area. That's where the main showers are going to pop up. But we still have the potential to see on the back end of this low pressure system, this little snow shower pushing into our area Saturday night into Sunday that could potentially bring a little bit of snowfall. Not expecting much. If we do see anything, it'd be less than an inch of snow. But what we are definitely going to see high confidence on our significant drop in temperatures. So we go from 40s, 50s down to 30s and 20s as we start the next week. So those temperatures are going to be pretty cold in the 20s for the highs, teens to single digits for the lows. And we have a slight chance for precipitation over the weekend, but mostly the confidence is on those really cold temperatures following our warm up.
Yeah, that Sunday night getting down to 7 degrees is never good. That's
not going to be fun. That's where pipes start to freeze, that kind of thing. But yeah, looking before that, temperatures are going to be in the 50s, and that's my sweet spot. That's where I'm going to be really enjoying outdoors.
I know, like 51, 57, like that's beautiful. We will take that and run with it.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, winter just got a little bit warmer for some kids in Southwest Missouri today. Today, Children's Haven of Southwest Missouri presented 120 brand new coats to children in need. The event made possible after a partnership with Frank Fletcher Subaru of Joplin in Operation Warmth.
It's amazing that we can all get together and kind of form this relationship where we're able to help out, especially with children. You know, they're not able to help ourselves like adults are.
Well, since 2003, Children's Haven has served families in Southwest Missouri, providing more than 50,000 nights of safe, nurturing care to more than 8,000 children. Coming up, a slice of success.
Pizzeria's profitability often comes down to the cheese. I'm Lauren Simonetti at Retail's Big Show in New York. I'll explain coming up.
Well, two major retailers announced more store closures. First, Macy's says it's closing down 66 underperforming stores this year in more than 20 states. Meanwhile, Kohl's says it plans to close 27 stores by April. Both companies say the closures will allow them to focus efforts on the remaining locations in order to boost profits and service. Well, maybe it's time's up for a favorite video platform here in the United States. The future of TikTok is less than a week away, but some users here in the 4 states have expressed their feelings when it comes to potentially giving up the social media app.
I just moved back from Costa Rica, and so it was a really great way for me to actually see what was going on here while I was abroad. So that was really nice to feel like I was connected to everyone in the States while not being in the States. So I use it a lot. I promote my business on there. I connect with other business owners. It's great, and it's part of my marketing strategy.
Well, many TikTok users have begun the migration to another Chinese-owned platform, Red Note, which has become the most downloaded free app on the Apple App Store as of today. Well, the top retailers are at what's known as Retail's Big Show, the annual showcase in New York City. Fox Business correspondent Lauren Simonetti is at the Jacob Javits Center with how they use robots in restaurants.
40,000 people, 6,200 brands here at the National Retail Federation's Big Show, where retailers are using technology and artificial intelligence to level up. We're going to show you AI in action in the warehouse, in the retail brick and mortar store, in the grocery store, and in the kitchen. Let's start with the food. Come with me. We're here in the pizzeria, and I'm going to show you how the pizza bot spits out pies in no time. James Poole is the Chief Technology Officer of Middleby, which is in charge of this equipment that is being used at Walmart Sam's Club. James, how exactly does this robot make the pizza?
So the robot uses embedded automation to basically sauce, cheese, and top the pizza perfectly every single time. So we control the right amount of sauce, perfectly positioned, cheese perfectly portioned, pepperonis perfectly placed on the pizza.
We need to talk about the cheese. Because that's the most expensive item for a pizzeria, in addition to labor.
It really drives a lot of their food costs. It's about 80% of their food costs is in the cheese that tops the pizza. So getting it right helps them, maintain their bottom line.
Okay. And then after the pizza has the right amount of toppings, it goes into the oven.
Goes into the oven. You can see a pizza coming out of the oven right now. 3 minutes and 45 seconds is the bake time of the pizza.
And how many of these can be made in an hour, for instance?
So these ovens will do about 30 pizzas an hour. So this is going to be about 90 pizzas an hour.
And a pop-up pizza shop set up right in the heart of New York City at the Jacob Javits Center. I'm Lauren Simonetti, Fox Business.
I don't know about you, but that pizza looked good. Coming up tonight in Joplin, a local council meeting was held to address community questions and concerns. We take you there. Well, tonight, Joplin city officials welcome residents to a community council meeting at the Joplin History and Mineral Museum. Now, this gathering provides a fantastic opportunity for community members to voice their concerns directly to city council members without the hassle of making an official appointment. Now, City Councilman Doug Lawson says some concerns surrounding Joplin's homeless issues were raised, but he also believes the city is making significant strides in addressing these challenges.
One of the good things about Joplin is we take good care of our homeless people. One of the bad things about Joplin is we take good care of our homeless people. In other words, it's a good place to come if you're having those difficulties. But we have people in Joplin that are available, willing, eager to help people get off the streets, become self-sufficient.
Well, Joplin city government has 2 more gatherings. The next one is Monday, April 15th at the Joplin Athletic Complex, and another on Monday, July 14th at Cunningham Park. Well, if you're looking for events in the 4 states but don't know where to turn, we've got you covered. Just scan this QR code and go straight to the events page of our website. That's where you can find fun family events in the area anywhere, anytime. KOAMnewsnow.com/events. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. The inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump is next week, and security is on the mind with recent attempts on the soon-to-be president's life. Plus, President Biden looks back on his foreign policy legacy, while efforts to secure a Middle East ceasefire continue.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Missouri welcomes its 58th governor today. Governor-elect Mike Kehoe was sworn in on the steps of the state capitol in Jefferson City earlier today. Now, Kehoe will replace outgoing Governor Mike Parson, who served as Missouri's governor from 2018 to 2025. Now, during his campaign, Governor Kehoe addressed a tough on-crime approach and tax cuts. He touched on those issues in his speech today, as well as strengthening education in the Show Me State.
Securing Missouri's future means strengthening public education and expanding school choice so that every single student has the opportunity to get a world-class education. Whether it's a 4-year college or a career and technical education, schools that teach kids how to think, not what to think, are the key to long-term self-reliance.
Governor Kehoe wasted no time today signing 6 executive orders aimed at crime and immigration following the ceremony. If you're interested in seeing the entire inauguration ceremony, just head over to KOAMnewsnow.com or on the KOAM Plus streaming app. The inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump is just 1 week away, and officials in D.C. are starting to prepare the city for what will be a big security crackdown ahead of an even bigger party on January 20th. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from Washington.
The stage is set for the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump next week. And while the pomp and circumstance seems ready to go, recent attempts on Trump's life have security top of mind.
The biggest threat, I think, for all of us remains the lone actor.
The Secret Service has authorized a security plan that coordinates with local law enforcement, military personnel, and federal partners like the FBI. Officials estimate there will be approximately 25,000 law enforcement and military personnel on site to secure the event.
We are in a higher threat environment.
Areas around the National Mall and the United States Capitol will see additional fencing and concrete barriers added for the event.
More than 30 miles of anti-scale fence will be used for the inauguration, more than any other NSSE ever before.
Officials are expecting nearly 250,000 ticketed guests.
We expect much larger crowds. In addition to that, there will be folks that are showing up to participate in a number of demonstrations.
Officials say they are ready.
We are not currently tracking any specific or credible threats to the inaugural ceremony or to the Capitol complex. We will continue to work closely with our partners.
Meanwhile, the Trump-Vance Inaugural Committee has announced its schedule of events. Highlights include several receptions, rallies, ceremonies, and balls. Plus, Fox News Digital has learned American Idol winner Carrie Underwood will sing America the Beautiful during the swearing-in ceremony. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Well, firefighters in Los Angeles are making progress against devastating wildfires, but officials warn the fight is far from over as high winds continue to fuel the flames. In Pacific Palisades, residents returned to find entire neighborhoods destroyed, with many salvaging what little they could. At least 24 people have died, and crews are still searching for victims with cadaver dogs. Utility workers are working to restore power to thousands, but say more shutoffs may be necessary if winds intensify. With 1 week left in office, President Biden is focused on his legacy. He'll give a farewell address to the nation Wednesday night, but this afternoon, he was at the State Department for a final speech on his foreign policy achievements. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has the details from Washington.
A standing ovation for President Biden Monday ahead of a final speech on his foreign policy legacy.
In these 4 years, we faced crises, that we've been tested. We've come through those tests stronger, in my view, than we entered those tests.
Biden maintains America's position in the world remains strong, but his term is marked by ongoing world conflicts and the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan, a decision Biden still stands by.
In my view, it was time to end the war and bring our troops home, and we did.
In the final days of his presidency, Biden's team is trying to free 3 Americans held by the Taliban in Afghanistan. But it's unlikely they'll reach a deal. Family members are hoping the new administration will be more successful.
It's very clear that the incoming administration cares about bringing U.S. citizens back to their country.
A ceasefire and hostage deal between Israel and Hamas, however, seems to be more promising.
We are close to a deal, and it can get done this week. I'm not making a promise or a prediction, but it is there for the taking, and we are going to work to make it happen.
During his speech, President Biden also touted his strong relationships with other NATO countries, an alliance he hopes Donald Trump does not unravel. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, Eagles in the 4 states.
The Eagles are in the 4 states. I'm Lonnie Walton in Catskill, and I talked to an expert about why they like to fly by. Stick around, I have the details coming up.
Nowhere else like Roper Honda, where you can save thousands on a new Honda and get a warranty forever on virtually every vehicle. With over 1.7 million in paid claims at zero cost to customer.
Well, after snow days and temperatures in the 20s, we finally get a break this week. Taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We've got a clear night sky out tonight, light winds out of the north, and as we head into tomorrow, we're going to warm up. Though temperatures today, we're well below average. We got down to the mid to lower 30s with our low this morning in the teens. So you can see our average temperatures should be in the mid 40s for the highs and mid 20s for the lows. So we're about 10 degrees cooler than we should be. But we get back on track tomorrow with temperatures warming up to the 40s. A little partly cloudy skies. And although this is still pretty chilly, it's going to be much warmer compared to what we've seen all week this week. Now, because of our warm up, what we've got going on is a low pressure system off to the east, a cutoff low out to the west, and we're kind of pinched in between those with a ridge over our area. So we see this nice warm up really take effect Thursday and Friday. Temperatures warming up to the low 50s, upper 40s. 51 in Joplin, 49 in Pittsburgh, 47 in Nevada. You can see 56 in Nevada, so really warm out in Oklahoma. Those temperatures are going to continue to warm up, with the overnight lows only dropping down to the upper 30s and low 40s as we head into Friday. And then the high temperatures getting into the mid 50s across the region. So about 56 in Veneta and Grove, 54 in Miami, 51 in Oswego and Pittsburgh. And then our lowest temperatures up in those northwest counties about 45, so not so bad. Then temperatures will start to cool down as a cutoff low that is out in the east west starts to push off to our area. But until then, like I said, we're going to have sunny skies. So this is Wednesday morning. That mid-wave trough just shifts off to the east. We've got this nice ridge building. And then by Friday morning, we're going to start to see that low actually move into the upper level flow and then shift off to the east into our area. You can see it's a little messy, and what really need to see is this low pressure system has something to really drive it to rejoin with the upper level flow. That causes a little bit of variation, some variables of what we can expect to go on this weekend. But as of right now, models are consistently showing a low pressure system develops, brings a cold front south, but just east of our area. We might get a few showers trailing from this system, but the main line of storms you can see goes through those eastern and southern states Saturday morning out of our area. But on the back end of this low pressure system, a little snow shower starts to push in, or we could see a little flurries, maybe even just an isolated snow shower passing through Sunday morning into the early morning hours before clearing back out. Now, it is a really deep low pressure system, so we are definitely going to see a significant drop in temperatures. The percentage on precipitation amounts only about 10% because, like I said, there's a lot of variables that could change with the system as it moves closer to the day. But we do know for a fact that with that low pressure system, temperatures go from 50s on Friday to the 20s on Sunday and Monday, with overnight lows dropping down to the single digits and the low teens before we warm up again by next weekend. So we go from these really warm, beautiful temperatures all week, sunny skies, that low pressure system, regardless if we see any rain or snow, we are definitely going to see a drop in temperatures.
All right. Well, we'll be keeping an eye on this weekend for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But in the meantime, enjoy those temps in the 50s.
I'm definitely going to do that.
Oh, that is amazing. I'm looking forward to that. All right. Thanks, Lindsay. Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up in sports, McDonald County boys basketball faces Neosho on the road. Plus, a member of the Pitt State women's basketball team is named MIAA Player of the Week. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Crop Insurance Division.
We have just one college football game left for the next 8 months. That's the FBS National Championship next Monday night. But Pitt State has some news for the 2025 season. Pittsburgh State Athletics officially announces its 2025 football schedule today. At the end of last week, we found out the opponents for each week, but now we've got dates and times to go with that. Of note, the first game of the season will be played on Thursday night. That's the Gorillas' road game against the defending national champion Ferris State, and it'll be on August 28th. It's the fourth time in the last 5 years that PSU opens the season on a Thursday. 9 days later, Pitt State will face Central Oklahoma. That's a night game on the road. Then Pitt State's first two home games both kick off at 4 p.m. against Grand Valley State and Fort Hays State. Gorillas will host rival Missouri Southern in the Miners Bowl on November 1st, and it's the first time since 2022 that game will be played at Carney Smith Stadium. Well, tonight marks the start of another busy week for high school basketball in the four states. We start in southeast Kansas. That's where Chanute heads on the road to face Pittsburgh. Games were originally scheduled for Friday, but the snow postponed it till today. Pittsburgh girls win 50-40, but the Blue Comets boys team takes down the Purple Dragons. Final score 67-53. In Missouri, we got a non-conference battle tonight at Neosho High School, and the Wildcats roll to a 75-36 victory over McDonald County. They're back at home this Friday against East Newton. Switching gears to college basketball, Pittsburgh State senior forward Corinna Gerber is named MIAA Women's Basketball Player of the Week for the second week in a row. She's helped lead the Gorillas to a pair of conference victories over Missouri Southern at home, then Newman on the road. Gerber scored 22 points to go with 11 rebounds against the Lions. Then she had 12 points and 10 rebounds in the win at Newman. She now has 8 double-doubles on the season, and she leads the conference in free throw percentage. Over to the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys announced this afternoon they've mutually parted ways with head coach Mike McCarthy. This comes after the two sides couldn't come to terms on a new deal after McCarthy's contract expires at the end of the season. He'll likely be a favorite to fill one of the several head coaching vacancies across the league. McCarthy, with him as head coach, the Cowboys accumulated a record of 49-35, and they won the NFC East 3 times. Well, the majority of the NFL is already looking ahead to next season. Of course, though, there are still several teams alive in the playoffs, and the final game of the wild card round takes place tonight between the Rams and the Vikings. LA up big in that one as we come on the air. Fourth quarter is in progress, but the most recent check of that score has the Rams in front 27-9. They're on the brink of advancing to the divisional round. That game also is the one that was supposed to be taking place in LA, gets moved to Arizona because of the wildfires. So kind of a weird experience, I think, for everybody involved, a neutral site for that playoff game.
It's nice that it is a neutral site, though.
Yes, very much so.
All right, thanks, John. We're back with more news after this. The Department of Conservation says bald eagles are making their way to Missouri. The Show Me State has become one of their favorite places to nest. KOAM's Lonnie Walton talks to a local naturalist about the birds.
First of all, I just really like birds, so I've always been a birder since I was in high school.
Selesky is a naturalist at Roaring River State Park in Cassville. She says birds are everything to her.
I met some people who were super into birds and bird watching, and they got me really excited about it.
And they're in love with Missouri also.
We see several thousand bald eagles that are reported in the state every year.
And if you're wondering why they came here, you guessed it. Food.
There's also in the winter some bald eagles that come from northern Missouri or even further north because our waterways, most of them stay open year round, so it provides a constant source of food for them.
And how do we take care of them? According to Selesky, we just leave them alone.
People are coming into contact with nests more often. So it is actually, nests are federally protected. So it is against the law to disturb a bald eagle nest. Also keep your distance.
And we had to ask the other residents how they like the bald eagle in their hometown.
Interesting because when I was a kid, it was very rare that I'd see one.
And for Selesky, like I said earlier, she just can't get enough.
I've been here at Roaring River just watching these bald eagles. Every year I learn something new.
Reporting in Cassville, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Anyone convicted of killing a bald eagle is subject to a $5,000 fine or imprisonment, and that's according to the Missouri Department of Conservation. Well, coming up, many shows are coming to Fox this week, from 911 Lone Star to the new series Going Dutch. We'll take a look. Fox's brand new series and returning hit shows continue this week. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has a look at what's coming up.
Copy your mayday, firefighter. What's going on out there?
Monday starts with an encore of 911 Lone Star. That's followed by an encore of the premiere of Fox's new medical drama, Doc. Doc stars Molly Parker as a chief of internal medicine who suffers a brain injury, erasing the last 8 years of her memory.
It's our last shot before the Super Bowl.
Tuesday is a new episode of Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares: Road to the Super Bowl, set in New Orleans.
Come on, I need to know.
After that, it's an all-new Doc with Parker's character at the hospital recovering, where she can't help but get involved in her roommate's case. Wednesday on Special Forces, World's Toughest Test Season 3. The celebrity recruits face new challenges, including escaping a boat crash. Then on Hell's Kitchen, the top 5 chefs are tasked with teaching 5 guest comedians a signature Ramsay recipe.
You're a therapy coach?
Thursday, it's workplace comedy night, starting at the Animal Control Precinct with guest star Thomas Lennon. Then the new series, Going Dutch, continues, with Captain Maggie's CIA agent boyfriend visiting the base. Friday, Fox Sports presents Fox College Basketball, Indiana at Ohio State, rounding out the week. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of an adorable baby pygmy hippo at the Metro Richmond Zoo in Virginia. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.